Hey, this is David Ramsey from Arrow, and you're listening to Tomorrow's Legends with Martin, The Flash, Harley Quinn, and X-Force 11. Oliver, don't.
When the danger becomes more than one hero can handle, when enemies rise beyond one city and threaten the entire world, a team must gather together to battle the odds. A team of extraordinary heroes. And that team will call themselves the Justice League.
Yes, hello, baby leaguers. What happens when those team of extraordinary heroes, like Dan was just saying, becomes a team of children again? Well, that's what this one is all about, as we're here on episode 3 of the Justice League Unlimited, and it's called Kid Stuff. And I guess for this one night only, you can truly call me Kid Flash.
And I'm Harley Quinn.
And I'm feeling 10 again. I'm X-Force 11.
Oh.
Hello, legends.
Hello, Gideon. Yeah, that would be nice to be a kid again. I know we all wish we could go backwards in time, right?
Yes.
Especially as the years are creeping up so fast. Like, you know how they say time gets faster the older you get. It seems like time's going faster. I actually read a scientific article, and they actually broke it down and explained why that is. They actually scientifically know now why time goes faster as you age. You want to hear why?
Yeah.
Because when you're young, your brain, everything in the world is new to your brain. So it's absorbing information, light, sounds, colors, new experiences, learning, teachings. Like, it's absorbing everything. It's just constantly being attacked by all this new information. But as you get older, a lot of the information is just either known by you already or repetitive, or it's your brain just deems it not useful to you because you have enough of life experience that it doesn't need it. So because there's less information coming in, your brain doesn't have to keep working, and therefore a lot of the stuff just gets all melted together, and it feels like there's less happening in your life, so time naturally moves faster because it's not got so much going on. And it was
interesting.
They broke it down a lot more, a lot more detailed than that, but when I read that, I was like, that makes so much sense. Your brain is learning less, so time is just going faster because it doesn't have as much to do.
Interesting.
You're not filled with new experiences anymore. You're filled with the same mundane, repetitive nature, so half your brain just kind of shuts down and goes, okay, I know all this already. And
I mean, that's true. Most of my days look very much the same. So.
Yeah. So they said to counter that, the trick is to go out there and start learning new things, take on new experiences, do different stuff that's not part of your ordinary, and that will help trigger your brain to fire up again and start learning all this new stuff, and time should not go as fast anymore. It should start to slow down again.
Interesting. Yeah, it's
There you go.
interesting.
Cool.
Very cool. All
Yeah.
right, we need to go have some new experiences.
Yes, exactly. Because life, we only get one, right? And it goes by so dang quick. So let's,
I know.
these are all neat things to look into and try to fix. So, yeah. Well, you're listening to Tomorrow's Legends. We are talking about Justice League right now, and this is on the Cybercast Network. And we had began it all with Legend of Tomorrow, and we covered Stargirl, Superman, and Lois, X-Men 97, Jupiter's Legacy. The Tomorrow people, like Jess was just talking about before we started recording, and the upcoming Lanterns show. And then you got Dive into DC, and that's Silver Fox and Green Butterfly over there. What do they got going on right now, Jeff? I actually haven't tuned in.
They're taking a little bit of a break, and then they're going to kick off on some other stuff, but they haven't decided what the order is going to be yet.
They're probably waiting for us to pick a day for us to do our big coverage of the finales. We still got to work on that.
Yeah.
So we did say February sometime, so I got to get to watching those episodes.
Yeah,
so.
me too.
I was going to say, I should probably watch them.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a great place to talk about that. We'll just move right into, actually, no, I'll mention The Mandalore as well. That's our Star Wars on Disney Plus episode on the show. But moving into the news section, we don't really have news this week, but we do have a special episode coming up where it's an entire Cybercast network. It's the three of us plus dive into DC hosts, Silverfox and Green Butterfly. I don't know if D Vizzle will join us from Mandalore or not, but what we are doing is we're going to cover every finale of the Arrowverse. And how many shows was that, guys? Do you remember, Jeff? Like 7 shows?
7 or 8.
We got Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl, Superman and Lois, Arrow, The Flash, Black Lightning, Batwoman.
Did you say Supergirl?
Supergirl.
Yeah.
So that's 8.
So it's
I'm up to 8.
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5.
So at least 8. So what we're doing is we're watching the finales of every single show, and we're going to talk about which show did it best, which show was able to wrap up their storylines, their character arcs, all that stuff. Which show brought it to a close the best? Which did you feel the most for? What got to your emotions? All that kind of stuff. And if you weren't a fan of the whole show and you're just watching the finale and everyone watched the series, well, you're going to then judge it on how good was the finale. Like when you watch that finale, are you sitting there going, damn, I missed a lot. I probably should watch that show. Or are we going to watch some of the finales and go, yeah, there's a reason why I avoided this show. So we're basically just going, it's like the one final send-off to the Arrowverse. Now that Superman and Lois came to a close, it's all gone. There is no more Arrowverse. So we are going to just send it off one last time with a massive Cybercast network conglomeration and talking about all of the finales. So yeah, so get watching, guys. We're going to do it sometime in February. We don't have an exact date because none of us, I think we're all just going to sit down and start watching them now. That's 8 finale episodes, so probably later half of February, I would imagine. So get watching, get your feedback ready, and start sending in your thoughts for all of those finales. That's what we're going to do. All right, let's move into our impressions and ratings of the show.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
All right. I gave this one 8.5 Wonderbat crushes. So this was another fun ride and an episode I remembered well. And it was fun to watch our heroes as kids with powers and not adults in kids' bodies necessarily. It was a fun magic tale, and we also got to see some neat Wonderbat romance starting. So it was just a fun and quick little episode, but again, a lot of fun of getting to see them in a new situation.
Yeah, I gave this one 8.5 Mordred curses, and I agree with you. I actually did think this was a very fun episode with a surprisingly dark tag at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that twist, and we will get into that. It's fun to see our heroes acting like kids or, being their kid selves. That was kind of just an interesting thing that they got to do. And then, of course, I thought the twist with Etrigan being a baby, he was kind of a cross between a baby and a toddler, but I thought that was very funny. And so, of course, I enjoyed the Wonderbat stuff. We got some of the funnier lines throughout this episode because of that. So that was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not with you guys. I'm giving this one only a 5 meant for kids. I really hated Teen Titans Go. I never watched it. I only saw a couple episodes because, an ex's kid was watching them, and I just can't stand that show. And that's what this one reminded me of as I was watching it. It's definitely one that I forgot, and for me, pretty good reason, because when I watched this, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta sit through this one again. Yes, there was some funny moments. There's some good stuff in here. There was some funny moments and some funny lines, mainly with our team. But it's just, it had its bright spots, but I'm never going to go back to this one again. 2 watches now in 20 years is more than enough for me and more than it deserves. I just did not enjoy it. I don't like childish, goofy kid stuff. I just don't. I don't find it funny. I don't find it entertaining. It's just more annoying to me. So wasn't one for my tastes tonight.
All right.
And I'm going to basically be following you guys along. How I judge when I know an episode is good, I write a lot of notes.
Yes.
Well, I have 7 or 8 lines written for this one. That's it.
No.
And I didn't even get those in our notes. So I'm going to have to look at my notes as we're going through the show here and try to fit them in where I can. But I had nothing to say, really. So I'm glad you guys got to the notes, because it would have been a real short show for me if I got in here. So let's get to talking points and see what you guys came up with.
gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe.
All right, so I kind of went in depth on this voice and characters and powers and that kind of stuff because we have some people that we see very quickly and not for a long time, and some we see for a longer.
Yeah.
So we have a bigger guest cast because we have the younger versions. Starting off with the younger Wonder Woman, voiced by Dakota Fanning. War of the Worlds, I Am Sam, Man on Fire.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And she was 10 when she was voicing this part.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. We have younger Batman, voiced by Kyle Alcazar, who's done Family Law, Racing Stripes, and ER. He was 12 when he voiced this. We've got younger Green Lantern, voiced by Mark Johnson Jeffries, who's been in Power, Notorious, and City on a Hill. And back is Morgan Le Fay, voiced by Olivia Diablo from Wonder Years, Conan, that kind of stuff.
Right.
She's back. We saw her in season 1 in the two-parter A Night of Shadows.
That's right.
She and Mordred.
That's right. I had that question. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so she's a skilled sorceress using black magic. And then we've got Mordred, voiced by Soren Fulton, character actor in several series, and he's got the magic as well. And we get to see him very briefly, our villains that our leaguers fighting when they get zapped. We get Cheetah, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Abbott Elementary, Sister Act 2, Mighty Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And she's genetically modified human, Cheetah is, and criminal.
And she's one of Wonder Woman's biggest villains over a long time now.
Yeah. We have May, who's the little girl in the amusement park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, voiced by Ashley Edner, Star Trek Beyond, Star Trek Voyager, House Sand and Fog. We have Copperhead, back by J.R. Unique. We've got Blockbuster, voiced by D. Bradley Baker.
Oh, is that the guy that Superman was fighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So originally, the character was Mark Desmond, and he developed a serum to make himself stronger, and it made him stronger, but it also left him almost spineless. And so, like, his brother kind of got him into robbing and taught him to hate and try to destroy Batman. So, but then we have a small cameo in here by KG Beast. He does not speak, but the character is Anatoly. I'm not even going to pronounce the last name because I'm going to butcher it. Yeah, that's what.
There we go.
Yeah. So, assassin trained by the KGB in the Soviet Union, Batman villain, super strength, expert marksman, and he has a gun in place of his left hand.
Oh.
So we saw that.
Huh.
So this story is very similar in ways to the Justice League, A World Without Grown-Ups, and that was kind of a prelude to the creation of Young Justice in the comics. So, they had a similar story there with, Mordred and a purple energy and things like that. And so this kind of takes a couple comic storylines and merges them in and puts them in this one. So,
Nice.
Cool.
All right. So that's the background.
Nice.
Very helpful.
Lots.
All right, so I noticed something with our opening kind of montage / title sequence that they've done. It's different from the other series, and I think I had sort of picked up on it the last couple episodes, but I definitely confirmed it this week. These openings are specific to the episode, which I did not actually realize. So it's kind of fun because it's showing Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like showing a preview of what's to come. I think it's an interesting approach, although maybe like a touch spoilery because they definitely show
Yeah.
stuff like from throughout the entire episode. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
well, there's
Yeah.
kind of no question. We know what's going to happen now. So I don't know how I feel about it, but I did kind of want to call that out as a talking point, see how you guys
That's
felt about it.
No.
Yeah, and I can't remember like if they do that all the way through, or sometimes TV series will like do that where they have stuff from current episodes until they build up stuff, and then they do like a montage from different episodes as the main title. So I'm wondering, I can't remember if they continue doing this all the way through or not. But anyway.
Yeah, I might keep an eye on it. I thought at first that's kind of where they were going with it, but then I was like, I think these are supposed to be scenes from this episode. And then this week I was like, okay, these are definitely scenes from this episode. So interesting approach.
I like it. I mean, it might spoil a couple things, but it does kind of also tease you a little bit as to what's coming up.
Right.
And, so as long as they're careful about it, it's kind of cool. But you don't often pay attention to the opening sequence. Sometimes you just hit skip intro, right? So you're going to miss all of that. But I like watching it because then you see what's going on, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, continuing with the opening of the episode, we open up with Morgaine and Mordred on a quest to find an all-powerful amulet. So he's definitely much the same as we saw him in the last episode we saw him in. He's a petulant tween who is sick of being Mommy's little boy. He wants his kingdom and the power he's been promised for centuries.
Yeah. Poor Mordred. I mean, he's been kept a kid for century by his mom's magic. So it's like, it's got to be rough.
I mean, you're right. He is such a brat. Like, he is just, I guess if you're a kid for centuries, I mean, you never get to grow up, but I just don't understand how he's never changed. He was beyond one of the worst brats you've ever seen. But it kind of makes you think they've been alive for centuries. Like, that's some pretty crazy magic that can just keep them in that exact age.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it did him. I mean, we never saw Morgaine take off her mask, so we don't know what she looks like, right? But at least he stayed a boy. So it just it's crazy. It's crazy that someone let some magic can keep you alive for that long.
I know. And it's like, I almost feel a little bad for him. Like you said, he's such a brat and he's kind of annoying. Yeah. But also, I'm sure that it can't be easy to be stuck as a 10-year-old. Is he 10? 10-year-old boy, I guess. Like,
something
for centuries.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And so, I don't know. Like, he's always being dragged along on this quest for his mom to gain more and more power while never really quite getting the kingdom that she keeps promising him. And so, I don't know. By the end of this episode, I definitely had gotten the feeling that she was trying to keep him as a kid forever and just basically string him along.
Right.
It makes me wonder, though, if he's been, say, 10 years old for centuries, does he have the knowledge of somebody that's been alive for that long, or is he just a kid still? Like, you would think, even though he's 10 or 12, he's still going to be learning. When you're alive for that long, there's so much knowledge that you're going to gather. So does he have the mental intellect of an adult because he has learned so much over the centuries, or is he still just a kid playing with, his wooden sword and whatever? Like,
I wonder if she's put him into hibernation some too, because like you would think he would gain insight and grow mentally, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he did. So
I agree. It doesn't seem like he did at all, but I think he should have, like, to your point. So yeah, maybe it is some sort of like hibernation periods that he goes through, and she only like pulls him out on like when she needs him. Like, she clearly needed him for this particular mission. So,
well, maybe it could be. I mean, if your body's stuck, whatever spell she's using to keep him young, maybe his body, and including his brain, it just can't grow. It just can't evolve. Maybe that's all it is.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So they're in this abandoned temple looking for the amulet of first magic, which is supposed to be the source of all earthly sorcery, and Mordred claims it before his mom can get her hands on it. And his first spell is to make everyone in the world his age, older than his age, disappear.
Yeah. Like that. I mean, first of all, they're calling it the amulet of first magic. So that to me tells me that this is the beginning of all magic here on Earth. So where Merlin and all the wizards that we know from history, they all get their magic from this beginning source. That's kind of cool. Like that there's an artifact like that out there where it begins. So it makes me think, well, who created the amulet? Where did that amulet come from? That it's the beginning of all magic on Earth. So that part I was kind of cool. I was like, oh, I hope there's a little more history here, but we don't really get anything. They just named it that, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, he cast and what was interesting about that spell is it was worldwide. It started off as a little dome, and then it just expanded and went all the way around the world, and it basically vaporized the adults. Like you don't realize in the moment, you don't think that they're just being transported to another dimension. They look like they got vaporized. And so essentially I'm thinking, holy, this kid is a mass murderer. He just wiped out trillions of adults, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. And then the other part that I thought was interesting is when, as we see the magic spell expanding and all the adults are missing, like, they go to that one classroom scene and the teacher's saying, you got all this homework on the board, it's all due tomorrow, and the students are like, oh. And then she gets vaporized and they all cheer. I'm like, you bunch of sick, twisted kids. Your teacher just vaporized before your eyes and you're all excited about it. I mean, I guess that's how kids are, but I was like, wow. Boy, oh boy, and the mom saying, no ice cream for you, she gets vaporized and the kid's like, woo, and like, then holy cow, like these kids. there was a few sad kids that were crying, but boy, oh boy, some of them were just like, freedom, and they didn't even care. So it was a little bit twisted.
A little bit. There were some definite dark shades to this episode. Mordred, so like kind of how I read this is, given the age and given the age of my children, he's definitely acting out. He's tired of being told what to do by his mom. I can't tell you how many arguments I have with one of my children because I simply said the word no. And it wasn't even a real no. It's kind of just like, well, not right now. Or, could you like go and do this? And it's always met with some sort of resistance. Like there's never just like, okay, yeah, I'll go do it. It's always like, well, why? Well, I don't want to. Well, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, oh my God, just go do it. I didn't ask you for this like big thing. Anyways, so that's what it felt like to me. And I think if any kid had this kind of magical power, they would get rid of all of the adults simply because they're sick of being told what to do.
Good point.
My take on it.
I have a good chuckle that Harley is dealing with little Harley's little versions of herself. That's kind of funny.
It is not
all the attitude.
Most days. Oh my God. No idea.
Well, we find out that fortunately they haven't been killed. They've all been magically transported to this dimension, and we have an uneasy alliance here with Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Green Lantern, because earlier they were up against the villains that I talked about, Blockbuster, Cheetah, KG Beast, all those, and they're fighting in this bank vault, and the wave of magic hits them, and not even Green Lantern's shield can stop them.
No.
And they're gone.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you see them get vaporized, you're like, oh, okay, wait a second. There's no way that they just wiped out everybody. So luckily they don't waste a lot of time to show you what happens to them, and they get to this crazy other dimension that they're in. And uneasy alliance. I mean, what I found funny was that guy Blockbuster? He's curled up in the corner in the fetal position, sucking his thumb.
Yes. That was so funny.
So funny.
I don't know. I thought like the whole situation was pretty crazy because here's what I was expecting to happen. Green Lantern puts up his shield, and then that's how they all turn into kids. So when they all disappeared, the same as all the rest of the adults disappeared, I was like, hold on a second. Where are we going with this? But, As it turns out, all of the adults, including the Justice League and Morgan Le Fay, were transported to like some shadow realm limbo area.
Yep.
It was just kind of interesting, like you pointed out with, was it Blockbuster? Just to see how it was affecting the different people, because most people were pretty well terrified. They didn't really understand what was going on. I did find it amusing that the guy was, laying on the floor sucking his thumb, like he immediately reverted back to a baby. It was just kind of hysterical, but
yeah.
And here's where Morgan Le Fay comes in, and she kind of fills them in on what's going on. And she proposes an alliance to stop Mordred. And in order to get them out, they have to be kids. So she uses her magic, transforms them into kids, and they get immediately sent back into the world.
Yeah, so this is what I'm glad you said at the beginning of the show, because my first question here was, wait a second, it seems like they know each other. It seems like, because as soon as she shows up, Batman's like, Morgan Le Fay. And I'm like, what, he knows her? And I realized, oh yeah, they did. We did have an episode earlier in the Justice League season, so that's why they met. But I like that she, they're all getting ready to fight, and she immediately was like, wait, I mean you no harm. We got to work together and figure this out. And of course, the team was like, I'm not so sure about that yet. But I do like when she proposes to them. Green Lantern's like, I got a bad feeling about this. He pulls out the hand soul. So. Pretty fun. It's too bad. I think where they missed out is they should have turned the villains into kids too, and then had them all go back together. That would have been fun.
I actually thought they were going to do that for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that they didn't go as well. So
I know. Yeah, I thought they were going to have them all team up, and so I was a little bit disappointed when that happened. But it just was also really interesting to see like how the magic worked. And so it's like as soon as they turned into kids, they disappeared. A little bit of foreshadowing as well.
I will say here, like when we first see them back as kids, they are this irresistibly cute kind of thing, because they're not little kids. They look like they're kind of teenagers, like 14 or 15 is what they got turned into. And they're still kind of themselves, but they're just younger, smaller versions. And I liked how, Batman's cloak and stuff looked a little bit too big on him. Like there's just some little visual touch that were kind of fun. And then Green Lantern with his glasses. He's like, wait, I can't see. When I was a kid, I had to wear glasses, and he makes himself glasses. And I was like, that's interesting that when they got reverted back, all of their childhood quote unquote ailments came back as well. Like he needed glasses. And it's just funny that he puts on these big, Coke bottle glasses kind of thing. The kid, they're automatically laughing at him and making fun of him. Like there was some fun moments in here. It was all the other kid stuff that bothered me, but when it was just on our team, I enjoyed them as kids.
Yeah. So the fun thing is, like, after they make fun of him for those glasses, he changes it into a mask, and that mask resembles Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern mask. Oh. It's kind of the version of my blue, one that I have on my character. So it's Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern's mask. So he kind of does a take on that for his cool glasses.
Cool.
Nice.
So,
yeah, I did notice it was more mask-like, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Interesting though when you think about it, like he has bad vision, and he makes glasses out of his Green Lantern energy, and that helps him see better. Like, how does that work? How does looking through the green energy improve his vision? That's probably too much to ask, but it was interesting.
Well, if he can make all the other stuff, he can make rockets and all kinds of different stuff. He can.
I'm just gonna go with it takes on the properties that he needs it to take on, and then he can see. I don't know. That's all I get.
I don't think I see it here in the notes, so I want to ask you guys a question here, because our team are kids again here, and I want to ask you, are they actually kids again, or are they just shrunken down versions of themselves? Do they keep all of the experience they had as adults? Like, what do you think? Did they just get shrunken down? They're still themselves, but in child bodies, or they actually are back to being 14 and 15 again? Because as the episode went on, that's more what I felt like. In the beginning, I thought, no, it's just them thrown in their child bodies again to trick
Yeah.
Mordred, but it turns out I think they were actually that age again.
That's the feeling I got. I mean, it really seems like they were discovering how to do stuff, because with the exception of Diana, like they wouldn't have had those powers. And so it was like at that age. So it was like they were discovering how to do stuff with their powers at that age. And their mentality also felt like younger too. So it seemed like they were actually younger.
I agree. I do feel like the way that at first it was hard to tell, but as the episode went on, it really did feel like they had been reverted to, I don't know. I would say like maybe Diana felt a little bit older, and we'll, get more into her, but maybe she was 12 and the others felt more like 10, 11 to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they felt young.
Okay.
So
then my other question with that, so if they actually got reverted to being kids, did their powers also kind of get shrunken down? Like, were their powers reduced to a kid level? They wouldn't have their full strength. Like, Superman didn't seem like he was at his full power. Batman didn't seem to have all his knowledge. Wonder Woman seemed a lot weaker. Green Lantern was like, how do I do this? I don't even know how I did this. Like, it seems like their powers also got like almost like backwards, like, in years. It's like they're like a child version of their powers. It's hard to put into words what I'm saying, but they were not full-powered adults in their children body.
yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to figure it out or trying to figure out what to do, because I think I don't know if Jeff, this may have been what you said, but that they didn't necessarily all have those powers at that age. Like Green Lantern definitely didn't. Batman doesn't become Batman until much later. So it was just kind of interesting to watch them sort of figure out what to do with their powers.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they just didn't seem to have the full power. Like, Superman and Wonder Woman were not as strong as they would have been if they were adults. They seem like they're, okay, yes, you're a super strong Superboy. That's where you're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the powers were downgraded, for lack of a better term.
That's a good way to
match
put
their
it.
ages. Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, even when you look at Superman, when he fired his heat vision, they were just like little tiny pinpricks in the robots they were fighting. Like, they weren't a big blast of energy. So it just seemed like everything got downsized. Yeah. Okay.
So we have Mordred showing up at Funseyland, where the kids are all either having fun or totally upset by the lack of adults. And he transforms this amusement park into his magical and dark kingdom.
Yeah, I definitely found his interpretation and a magical kingdom to be really dark, which I think is supposed to fit his character. But honestly, I feel like that would have been really scary for the modern kids who are now just kind of like playing around in his kingdom. So that was it was an interesting take. I was like, this is kind of dark. A little dark undertones this episode.
Totally. Speaking of dark undertones, did you notice the two kids were playing with the guillotine?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, that's not a kid's toy. They're like throwing suits of armor in there and chopping its head off and laughing and having fun. Like, oh boy.
Oh yeah.
So Mordred is ruling and giving the kids what they want, but he's not enjoying it too much. He's not enjoying kind of being at their beck and call and answering all their needs there.
He's essentially playing Santa Claus.
I mean, kind of, yeah. But this is like a lot of what like kings do. Like I do feel like he is excited and he finally gets his throne, and then he realizes how tedious it really can be to rule a kingdom, like for real. Like it's not this like romantic fantasy that I think a lot of people have. So you actually have to listen to what people want. You have to make decisions. And I don't think he liked that part of it. Like, not at all. He's like, oh, okay, well, this is really boring and I just want some action.
That's what happens when you get rid of all the adults, man. You have to deal with childlike problems.
That's right.
Yep.
So in order to have a little bit of action, the justice babies here show up and try to save the day, and Mordred gets a really good laugh about that. He definitely knows immediately what has happened. His mom bewitched them and sent them to stop him, but now he also knows how much power he has with this amulet. So he knows he's pretty all powerful, and to start, I guess to amuse himself because he wanted some action, he ends up bewitching some toys, and then he can be entertained by a battle instead of just granting wishes to kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun because essentially the kid got a bunch of robots or transformers or whatever, so he just makes them grow life size so that they can stomp all over the superheroes. And this is a good example of where we see our team's powers not being as strong as we're used to seeing, because they really struggled fighting these things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got Batman saving Wonder Woman, and then she returns the favor. So
that was hilarious.
Yeah, but it was fun to kind of see them, like we said, adapting, their powers and being in these kid bodies and kind of learning things for the first time and dealing with, you've been in your adult body with these powers and you've trained and and now you're in these kid bodies and you're trying to adapt to everything. So it's, it was kind of fun to kind of get to see them adapt there.
See, and that's the point I was trying to get at. Like, it seems like they got to keep all of their experience, and because they're in the fight and they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this and like fight the way they normally would, but because they're in kid bodies and their powers aren't as great, they weren't able to perform the same types of maneuvers and feats of strength and stuff that they expected they could do. So it seems like their experience came with them.
Yeah.
They're just children, and they can't use that experience to the full potential. Like, that's why I was really confused. I was trying to figure out exactly what level, where are they at with everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you have an understanding, but like you can't get it to come out as well as you would like to. Like, you've read a book about, how to do X and Y. Yeah. But then you get thrown in and, it's not working the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the experience. Like, you have the knowledge, but you haven't done it or practiced it. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So they get sent to the dungeons where Mordred imprisons them and unleashes Baby Etrigan, the demon, on them. That is, until Mama Diana stops him.
It makes me wonder why Etrigan became like a toddler in diapers, essentially. Why did he go so much younger than everybody else?
I have no idea, other than clue. I wonder if like maybe Mordred did it just because he thought it was funny. I cannot figure out, because he should be a bit of an adult just like everybody else, but maybe because he's a demon, it didn't affect him in the same way. I have no idea. I just really thought that this scene was very, very funny. And maybe it's because I have kids and I can totally relate, but it really made me laugh because you just the whole sequence of events, everything, that he ends up doing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like classic, like baby toddler behavior. And then of course they stick Soups with the stinky diaper at the very end, which I thought was very funny.
That part was funny. Where I laughed was they're like, they're all... oh, what's that? That's not the only thing that's whatever. And Batman's like, well, that's a perfect job for Superman. And he that there, like, using the classic line, this is a job for Superman. I just love how he brushed that off on him. That was perfect. That was probably the best part. And I wish I actually, one of you guys, I think, have it in your favorite scene. So it's pretty funny.
It's me. So we'll get to hear it. Yeah. We've already kind of talked about it, but we do get to hear it again. It's so funny.
I just like that part. Yeah, that was the funniest part.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the other scene that I really loved was, I loved all the Diana stuff the last couple of episodes, but I really liked her kind of like taking command and telling all these kids like what's what. Like, you can tell she would have totally been one of those like no nonsense, like bossy babysitters, but I do think it was a very good thing she stepped up, because I felt like it was starting to head into Lord of the Flies territory with Mordred's kingdom of kids and doing whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was headed in that way. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the Justice Kids are planning, but we get this funny scene with Diana wanting to go with Bruce, and it's back and forth of who she's going to be with, and and who's going to be with who on the teams, and they're going back and forth and back and forth. And then Green Lantern kids Clark about not noticing Bruce and Diana, and it's like for somebody that has all those types of vision, you didn't see that was hilarious. So
Clark just didn't get it. It's pretty funny.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's like so much about this. First of all, I almost picked this as my favorite scene because I absolutely loved that line about him being so blind with so many types of vision. I just thought that was classic. But then, of course, like the whole bickering between them, it was just classic 5th, 6th grade. I mean, come on. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is hysterical. Cringy, but hysterical.
Yeah.
Like going back to your point about Wonder Woman, actually, I feel like this is probably just the scenario. Like when you're at this age, quite often it is the girls that act a little bit more older. Boys are just boys will just be boys, and that's why Wonder Woman kind of steps up and she takes charge because the boys are just goofing around. Like all they do is goof around, right? So she's like, no, enough. Everybody stop.
Yes, because women are more mature.
Typical.
Duh.
Yeah. Hey, not lying.
So they go into executing their plan, and Green Lantern's doing this cool maneuver with the claw, like the arcade game, to try to get the amulet.
Oh yeah.
But May comes up and interrupts him, and Mordred wakes up.
Oh my goodness. I was like, no, kid, don't do it.
And of course, it messes up, and, he wakes up and the situation changes. And I like that he grows into a giant to fight them because they're able to hurt him a little bit, but he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go bigger than you so I can stomp on you.
Yeah, it was kind of smart.
Yeah.
And then we get to kind of see a cool Green Lantern build here. He makes this robotic suit to attack Mordred. But of course, Mordred makes his own armor then, but it was kind of cool to see Green Lantern use, to build a robotic suit there.
Yeah. So. Yeah, there's a couple neat moments there like that. I did laugh. There was one point there when they ran into the castle and pulled up the gates. And Mordred's like, what are you doing in my castle? Get out of my castle. And I'm looking at him going, buddy, you just totally expressed how much magic you have. You've been doing nothing but showing off your power, and you can't open the door?
Mentally, we're about 10, 12 years old here, so I agree. I did think a lot of that was pretty funny. I also liked that we had kind of like modern robot versus like classic knight, and they were clashing. It was just kind of like a fun mishmash.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, totally.
So they get in this kind of back and forth, and Superman finally gets the amulet off of him, and the other members are kind of passing it off.
Yeah, they're throwing it like a frisbee. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. And then after gone, he basically eats it to destroy it, which was hilarious.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. I thought when he bit into it, I mean, it's the amulet of first magic. I thought in that moment when he's biting into it, something was going to happen to him. Like he was going to get some kind of crazy power because he bit the actual amulet and he's like ingesting the magic. I thought something was going to happen, but instead he was just stunned.
Or it turns him back into a human.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because he's like a demon? Maybe that's why it didn't affect him or something.
Yeah, like he's a demon inhabiting this guy's body, and like they can switch back and forth, but he may turn back into the human or whatever. So
oh my gosh, that would have been bad.
But it turns out Mordred still has the power. He's absorbed too much, and they kind of make fun of him, saying, "Oh, you're just too chicken to grow up. You're scared of that." And they turn the magic on him because he turns himself into a man, and automatically his spell has the effect on him, and he's zapped into the limbo zone.
That, I mean, kid logic, right? Because you're 10 years old, and it's just when he is so amped up about proving himself, and this is my kingdom, and I've waited centuries to have all the power, and blah, 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 and they're just like, yeah, you're just a chicken. You don't even want to grow up. You've been a kid for centuries, and you don't even want to be an adult. It's reverse psychology, and it works.
Oh yeah,
it totally works on him. He's like, oh yeah,
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, exactly. And so he makes himself. He uses his magic, and he makes himself actually physically grow up to where he's at a young 20-ish version of himself. And like you said, poof, the spell is still in effect, and off he goes. He got tricked into his own spell.
I know. And that was the foreshadowing. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. I thought it was clever.
So all the adults return, and the spells are reversed. And then we get the interesting tag at the end that Jess was talking about, because Morgan returns the Justice kids and Etrigan to adulthood.
Now wait a sec. Before you go on, there's one last funny moment. There is when they all become adults again. At the moment, Wonder Woman was still hanging on to baby Etrigan, so when they become adults, she's still holding on to adult Etrigan, and he's like, "Mommy," and she just drops him.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was amazing. There were some really great Wonder Woman moments, and I was like, "Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Please drop the demon now."
Yeah,
You know?
and she dropped him, so that was pretty funny. Anyway, I had to interrupt you there.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I do want to talk about the tag at the end here, because this was wild. Like, I was expecting to see Mordred as the 20-year-old man or whatever he turned himself into. I was shocked to see him as an incredibly elderly man. Like, can't even really speak or like do much of anything. And so all this told me was, I guess, in the end, she really did just want to take care of him for the rest of their eternal lives, while keeping all the power for herself. I did think this was pretty dark stuff for a kid's show, although I'm wondering if that tag would just completely go over children's heads. Did not watch this episode with my kids, by the way, so...
Really? It's all about kids.
I know, but there were some really dark elements to it, and they weren't home, so...
My question was, like, why is he so old suddenly? They didn't really explain it. Why?
Well, so she said that he no longer, was eternally, young. He just had eternal life.
Yeah.
So her spell kept him both eternally alive, but also young. So what happened is his age caught up with him. Like, that spell to keep him young, so like he aged to, like, he was hundreds of years old, but he's still going to live because he's eternal, has eternal life.
Right. Okay, that makes
eternal life as a, multi-100-year-old person.
He's like 600-700. Yeah, that makes sense that the years caught up to him because he was a kid for so long. That makes more sense. It was actually, like, it was dark, but it was also kind of gross because he's sitting there just drooling, and she's like, "Mommy will take care of you," and she's wiping the drool off his face continually. I have another question though. They didn't really explain, how did Morgan break the spell to return all the adults back to the world? They didn't show how she did it. How did she break his spell? Because he became an adult and went and joined her in the dimension that they were stuck in. Okay, they're stuck there. How does she come back? How did that all work?
Yeah, so he tried to use his magic there, but he had used it all up.
Okay. That's right.
He was trying to use his magic, and he had used it all up. So I guess she could counter it then, because he was more powerful, than her before, and she couldn't counter that. He has no magic anymore, and so she could, I guess, counter.
I
Yeah,
think the
that-
spell just ran out because the amulet was
True.
destroyed and he used all the
And-
power to age himself.
Right.
Okay. That,
So
yeah, I guess.
combination of both. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
so I
that-
think it just
Mm-hmm.
when the power ran out, then the spell was stopped.
Yeah.
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 I'll buy that.
Yeah, cartoon. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, makes sense. All right. Well, that's all our discussion. It wasn't really a deep episode. Not a lot of depth. Just a fun, silly kind of one. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I didn't as much, but discussing it is always more fun than some of the ones that I don't like watching. It's more fun to just talk about it with you guys. So
Yeah.
let's pause for our ad break, and we'll come right back with favorite scenes.
Shape out an eagle!
All right, Harley is up first tonight.
I know. I already gave you guys a preview and we kind of discussed it a bit, but I chose Baby Etrigan Attacks.
What do you do to the demon? Etrigan? Don't hurt him! Ow! Tell him that! Cut it out! Etrigan, you stop right there! I mean it! You naughty monster! Bad, Etrigan! Hey, little guy. It's okay. I won't hurt you. You've got to be kidding. He's just a baby. That's all he needed.
Oh man, that ain't all he needs.
Now that is a job for Superman.
I'm gonna go punch our way out of here.
I'll help.
Now that is a job for Superman. That's the best part.
Yeah. No, it's his duty. So
Yep. There you go. Daily stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'm next up, and I called this one Mama Diana Takes Control. So let's take a listen.
That's enough! You can't tell us what to do. You're not our mom. No, but I promise you, we will find all your moms. And I'm gonna tell. Well, what should we do? Go outside and wait for your parents. Now!
Your girlfriend sure is bossy.
Shut up!
I had to throw that one in because I loved it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it was super funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
loved it.
will that saying ever die with every single kid? I'm gonna tell. It seems
No.
it's surpassed generations. I'm
yeah,
gonna tell on you, like.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So funny. And we don't
A
even
lot.
teach them that. I don't even know where kids learn that. Nobody teaches them that. It just comes out of them as the
Mhm.
threat.
Oh, yeah. Well, because they know they'll get in trouble.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I tried to find the most serious moment I could, and this is like one of my shortest clips I've ever chosen, but we'll talk about it after. This one is called Never a Kid.
Circumstances aside, it was kind of enjoyable to be a kid again.
I haven't been a kid since I was 8 years old.
And I picked that one because it kind of hit me. It made you really think about Batman and like when his parents were murdered in front of him when he was just a kid, 8 years old. He had to grow up fast and never got to really have a childhood or anything like that. And I mean, mind you, it was Batman. He was hell-bent on revenge and learning and tracking down the criminal who did that, all that kind of stuff. But his childhood was taken from him. And it's a pretty tragic story when you think about it.
It really is.
So I just thought that moment hit pretty hard. Yeah.
It was a good one.
All right. If you would like to support the show.
If you'd like to support our podcast, you can do so at our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/tomorrowslegends.
It's feedback, your time to speak up. Believe it or not, what you think and you say means a lot to us. But why should we sit here and wait if you won't hurry up? So feedback or simply shut up.
I figured that one was suitable. It sounded like a kid would sing something like that.
100%. Yeah.
Simply shut up. All right, let's get into some feedback. And first up is a voicemail from Comic Geek Kev, and he's been emailing me back and forth behind the scenes because his feedback was really tough to hear, and it is again tonight. He said he's going to work on it, but man, oh man, Kev, I had to do 4 different processing just to bring up the volume. Like it sounded like he put his phone down on the table and walked clear across the house and then started recording. I could barely hear him. I'm like, what? So I had to apply volume and gain and all these different things. So hopefully it sounds okay. We'll have to work on that, Kev. We can help you out behind the scenes, but let's see how you sound. Here's Comic Geek Kev.
Good morning, legendary kids of tomorrow. I found you guys' breakdown on the podcasting ad process fascinating. I work from home, so aside from Teams meetings, I don't have a lot of interactions throughout the day. So I listen to podcasts literally from like 6 a.m. to 3 or 4. So I hear a lot of that. And I appreciate the transparency in the goings on in your guys' specific podcast. Honestly, I would have thought get a little more money coming in from ads and stuff, but I know nothing about that stuff. But again, I appreciate how much you guys do to
Thanks,
put
man.
the show on. Also, when discussing this next episode, the one we're doing now, you guys seemed confused about Morgan Le Fay. Maybe I misunderstood, but we met her in a previous episode with the demon Etrigan. Anyway, I like this episode, but I feel like there were some less than thought out points. Mordred continues to be a little putz, and his hatred of his mother is on full display in this one. Once he had some real power, he wasted no time in turning on her, and she seems generally shocked. He's always been a little, one of those. Anyway, I gotta say, I didn't feel too bad for some of those adults that vanished. The amount of homework from that teacher was crazy, and the mom at the zoo was being really strict. And I think that's really to showcase how happy the kids might be if the adults vanished, at least at first. We get a quick battle scene between the League and a group of baddies, but I don't think they were given a group name like the Secret Society or anything. Some of the usuals, Cheetah, Copperhead that we've seen before, Blockbuster. And I believe the guy with the weird costume cutouts was KGB. Leave those boob windows to Power Girl. She can pull it off. I like the lantern's ring couldn't stop the wall of magic. I don't always agree with the way the ring is used, but it's an instrument of science. It shouldn't necessarily be able to defend against magic. Like sometimes it just seems to be able to do anything that they need it to. And then I guess they're sent to some kind of limbo. Lantern assumes another dimension, so I guess that's the answer. The suggestion being that they're stuck there forever, I suppose, if that's what Mordred wants. Do they age? Need to eat? Use the facility? So many questions. I guess Lantern could whip up a porta potty if needed. Did Mordred mean to send them somewhere else? Or did he intend to just kill them? Are all the adults there? Because, I mean, we see a few, but who knows how many of those little floating rocks are out there? And are all the other Leaguers there? Like, there's so many questions just brought up by that whole situation. Anyway, the team makes a deal with Lupe, and I have to say, that seems like a crazy level of magic power, but okay. Why not do that any other time that they were fighting? Mordred changes the park into a medieval kingdom. Again, a lot of power, but at least he has the Amulet of First Magic, which is sort of a cool name. I wish that it was something besides a gaudy necklace, but it is what it is. Showing the shadows of the League seeming to be full grown as they walk towards this new weird castle.
Yeah, that was.
And having them be kids, that was a very cool transition, because we didn't actually see Morgan change them into the kids when they were in the limbo place. And I think overall the dialogue with them as kids was great. It was clear that they still had all their memories and stuff, but they weren't just adults in kids' bodies. They were kids with adult powers and abilities. Green Lantern eventually donning the mask of Kyle Rayner's Lantern costume. That was a great touch. Without going into blow-by-blow of the following battles, because a lot of it is battles, I do have one thing that really doesn't make sense to me. Why did Etrigan show up as a toddler?
I asked the same thing.
Why was he there at all? Who changed him? Why was he that young? He's older than everyone else except for Wonder Woman. So why was he a baby? It's very possible I missed some kind of explanation. Great to see him again, though. Guess you can't have a Morgan Le Fay story without Etrigan. Okay. And I liked how Lantern's constructs were unlike what he would have done as an adult. Having that child's imagination was working in his favor, except of course when he couldn't make a decision. I guess that military training really affected him in adulthood. The adult Mordred made me very uncomfortable. It was just weird. The voice, the hair, the loincloth, just very strange.
I don't understand that towel either.
And then my final head scratcher. Why was Mordred so old at the end? I get that now he had eternal life, but he immediately went from being an adult to a super old man because he burned out the magic, I guess. I mean, that's the only thing I could really think of. And when we see the kids come back, the kids start seeing the missing adults come back, and the world returns to normal, and Morgan changes the lead back. I find it very out of character for Etrigan to call Wonder Woman mommy. I mean, it was funny, but it just doesn't seem, certainly not by comic standards, he would do something like that. Regardless, voice cast notables this week: Dakota Fanning as young Diana, Olivia Dabo back as Morgan, Cheryl Lee Ralph back as Cheetah, and D. Bradley Baker as Blockbuster, and I would guess probably some additional characters, just knowing his history. The other names from the credits didn't jump out at me, and I didn't immediately recognize anybody except for Cheryl Lee Ralph and Olivia Dabo. I'm giving this one 8.5 kids that need a good snack. I just feel like having the whole roster of heroes. We have 2 episodes in a row with just the OG crew. I know it changes, and I just would have maybe sprinkled them in separately, and maybe they did air differently here, and that I know that's happened before. They air one way at the time, and then when they're put onto the streaming services, they air another way. But whatever. It's just an interesting thing, and I don't know why you wouldn't have taken one of those characters out and just replaced them with someone else. There's so many. But I guess we'll never know. Anyway, until next time, this is Comic Geek Kev turning the page, and I hope this one sounds better. Apologies for that, by the way.
Sorry, bud, it did not. But luckily, I made you sound good. I'm glad that came out all right. I had to apply 4 different volume settings to it to bring it up. So no worries there, bud. We'll figure it out. So the age thing, hopefully X-Force and Harley explained it to you the way they explained it to me, that you understand why he was so old at the end. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he made a good point about Green Lantern on, as an adult, we mostly just see him doing hand blasts. As a kid, he's got the imagination and he's building robots and doing all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yeah, that kid imagination, that's what he's got to tap into.
Yeah, definitely.
And start using the ring again, because that was real fun.
Yeah.
And then that scene he mentioned about the silhouettes, that was a point I wanted to make too. That was really cool because
that was fun.
What I find so cool is that just by their shadow alone, their silhouettes are so recognizable. We know who they are just by their shadow. Like, that's pretty iconic. That means you've got like 50 plus years of recognition from their shape of their outfits. It's so cool.
It's good branding.
That's
what that is.
Really, really neat. And then the last thing I just wanted to say, thanks for being appreciative of us being transparent to you. Like, we got nothing to hide. It's just, it's funny that a lot of people think podcasts make a lot of money, and I'm unsure where that comes from, because I know the big podcasts like the what's the guy that got the multi-million-dollar deal with Spotify? Joe Rogan. I mean, he makes millions off his show, but
he does.
Where the difference is it's the amount of downloads, the amount of listens. So we average between 100 and 250 downloads per episode right now, because we're doing all these old shows and stuff. When we're covering a brand new show that's hot on TV, then our downloads go up quite a bit. But on these older shows, not so much. So what they look at is even though somebody's buying advertising space, I don't know what they charge. I don't know if it's like, $5 for a 10-second spy. I have no idea what it costs. But no matter what, when they're buying advertising space, because it's only getting into 100 to 250 people's ears when they listen to it, we don't get that much money. If we had 1 million downloads like Joe Rogan, then we would be getting a massive advertising check, because their advertising just hit 1 million people. We're only hitting 100 to 250 people. So we're not going to see that much revenue come back from that. It's all based on how many downloads it gets to, how many ears it gets into, that kind of thing. So that's where the difference is, and why we're not able to retire on our podcast, basically.
No. If you want to know like a little bit more about it, the metric is usually, it's called CPM. It's cost per mil or cost per thousand. And it basically kind of shows like, this is your ad spend, you divide it by the impressions, and the average impression is multiplied by 1,000. So that's kind of where they land on that. So
so if we you could always listen to our episode, delete it, re-download it over and over and over and over again 1,000 times. That'll help.
Go back and listen to old episodes. I don't know.
That's just how it works. And there is other things we could do, because our ads, we don't choose what ads get played. We just sell ad space. But the other thing that we could do, which I think we have to also have at least a minimum 1,000 downloads. We could do host read ads. If you listen to other podcasts, you'll hear the host, all right, let's take a break now. And this episode is sponsored by Tide. Wash your clothes in Tide. Hot water or cold water, blah, blah, blah. And the host just basically tries to sell you a product. If we had enough downloads that we could pitch ourselves to do host read ads, we could make a lot more money that way. But again, it comes down to how many downloads we have. So until our numbers go way up, we can't sell ourselves for host read ads. So that would be that would be the thing. But there you go. There's some more info about that. All right, let's move on to Perry White, and I'm going to read it this time. He says, "Hey, Justice Legends, let's talk about kids stuff." Cool. Transformers, G.I. Joe, anybody? Kids stuff. Thundercats.
Cyberhawks.
It's one of my favorite episodes because it reminds me that this is a show for kids. Okay, maybe big kids, but still kids. You get poopy diaper jokes, Green Lantern in a cool mech suit, flirty Diana, and preteen angsty bats. Feels like a cartoon resulting from a cake and ice cream fueled fever dream, and I'm here for it. I give it 9 Green Lantern boxing glove constructs to the face out of 10. I'm curious about the storytelling so far, though. Other than the first episode, the most recent 2 episodes could have been in Justice League, at least as far as the characters they used. These episodes feel like ideas the creators might have had for Justice League, but didn't get to them before that series ended. Yeah, Kevin mentioned that too. Like the last 2 episodes have just been the regular team, so.
Yeah. Maybe, or they're easing us into it. I'm not really sure. I could see it both ways.
That could be it too.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on, then producers greenlit Justice League Unlimited, and the creators got to use these ideas. But they needed the first episode of GLU to establish the new status quo before releasing For the Man Who Has Everything and Kid Stuff to get them out of the way. Anyway, I admit I was confused as to why Etrigan was there as a baby, but after Googling, it made sense. Merlin banished Etrigan to this realm. Mordred's spell couldn't trump Merlin's, so it turned him into a baby, tying him to the realm.
Huh.
Interesting.
Okay. I feel like one line in the episode could have made that more clear. Beyond that, yeah. Beyond that, the one really dark moment was seeing Mordred at the end, old and decrepit, but can't die. That's a pretty grim existence. Yeah, you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I got. Since the episode had a Wonder Years alum, it only makes sense that this next episode features a Wonder Years reunion with Fred Savage and Jason Hervey. This show is kicking me right in the member berries. Great Caesar's Ghost.
Remember?
Wonder Years. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize some voice actors are in there. Awesome. All right, fellas. Well, thanks as always for being with us, our two faithful listeners. If you guys would like to join them, Justice League Unlimited, get into it. If you never watched it 25 years ago, come watch the show and enjoy and get on the air with us here and let us know what you think. 'Cause it's fun. It's fun acting like a kid, just like these guys got to do, like legitimately got to do. We get to act like big kids watching cartoons and talking about them.
That's right.
This is how you join the show.
If you would like to be a part of the show, you can send in your feedback to tomorrowslegendspodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter @tomorrowslegends. We'd love you to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/tomorrowslegends and become part of the community.
All right, next week we are talking about Hawk and Dove. Ares creates a war machine called the Annihilator to escalate a civil war in Casnia. Hawk, Dove, and Wonder Woman try to stop his plans. Cool. There you go. 2 new characters are joining the show.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
We saw them briefly. We saw their faces.
Yep.
In Superman's debriefing, but that'd be cool. Be cool to see who's voicing them, see what they're all about.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be good.
That'd be cool. I'm excited to get into it. A trio. So is it just those 3? Wonder Woman and the 2 brothers? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good stuff. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend. I know we're a day late getting this one out to you, but you got Sunday to chill with us, so have a good rest of your weekend, guys. And we'll talk to you guys soon. This is The Flash. This is Kid Flash. Signing off, man.
And this is Harley Quinn. I'm out.
This is X-Force 11. So say we all.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, HBO, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network. Be sure to check out our partner shows, The Mandalore and Dive into DC, covering your favorite Star Wars and DC Comics properties. Thanks for listening.